Sign or get out. He said it calmly, like reading directions off a napkin. Adam stood by the office door, arms crossed, holding a yellow folder like it contained law instead of templates from Google. I stared at the keys on the edge of my desk. They caught the morning light, the same light that used to make this house feel safe. My house. All right, I said. Let's see what you've got. He sat in my office chair, my chair, and turned the monitor toward himself. My bank statements, tax filings, mortgage receipts, even the original deed, all spread out like courtroom exhibits. He'd clearly spent the night digging through drawers that weren't his. Our attorney says marriage means 50-50, he started, tapping the folder like punctuation. You've been successful because I kept things running, the house, the meals, the maintenance. And the gym, and the video games, I interrupted softly. He frowned. I opened my locked filing drawer and pulled out the real paperwork, the ones he hadn't found. The purchase agreement dated 2 years before we even met. The mortgage in my name only. The title linked to my business trust. All stamped, notarized, indisputable. Our attorney? I repeated. Yes. He puffed his chest a little. He's top tier. Handles high-value divorces. I glanced at the card on my desk, Gordon and Associates. I knew the name. Half their elite cases ended in sanctions for malpractice. My phone was recording in silent mode. Every word mattered now. You went through my safe? I asked. He didn't flinch. Our safe. Marriage is a partnership. Partnership. I thought of the contractor I'd hired to fix the roof leak while Adam was researching investments. The gardener I paid because Adam's version of yard work was posting selfies with a rake. The cleaning service that came twice a week while he networked with people who never seemed to exist. So, I said, you're claiming the house, alimony, and half my company, on what basis? He smiled that old performance smile, the one that had charmed me 4 years ago before I learned charm was his only skill. On the basis that I was there, he said. Emotional labor, support, sacrifices. I walked to the kitchen, filled a glass with water, and stared out the window. Mrs. Patterson was walking her beagle, just like every morning at 8:15. Predictable. Solid. Unlike the man sitting in my office, ready to rob me blind in the name of emotional equity. The house was purchased before we married, I said evenly. The mortgage, taxes, insurance, all paid from my account. It's separate property under Missouri law. He leaned forward, voice rising. Then take it to court. Or just sign the damn papers. I picked up the folder. It was a mess, half legal phrases cut from the internet, half childish handwriting. He'd even left pencil notes like ask if jewelry counts. His idea of strategy was bolding words. Where'd you get this? I asked. I've been preparing, he said. Making moves. I smiled slightly. He didn't know I'd been preparing too. I reached into my bag and took out my own small black folder, 3 pages, a list of our joint expenses, a new lock code, and my plan for the day. Every step precise. Fine, I said quietly. If you want the hard way, let's document everything. He thought he'd won. I could see it in the way his shoulders dropped, like a boxer relaxing before the bell. I signed every page. Slowly. My signature perfectly legible. When I was done, I placed my keys beside them. My wedding ring too. His eyes flickered with triumph, the kind that blinds men right before they fall. That's it, he said, almost giddy. That's it. I walked out the door without looking back. 30 minutes later, I was sitting across from Rachel Torres, my attorney, the real one. She'd been expecting this for months. He said it? She asked. Word for word. Sign or get out. It's all on tape. Rachel smiled slightly, professional but pleased. Perfect. Now we begin. I handed her the recording and the fake contract Adam had forced on me. She slid them into separate labeled folders like evidence at trial. "This," she said, tapping the folder, "is going to undo him. But you'll need to stay calm. No contact, no emotion. Let him dig his own hole." I nodded. Calm was all I had left. As I left her office that night, the city felt colder but cleaner. My phone buzzed. "Mom." "Sweetheart," she said, "Adam called this morning asking who owns Dad's lake cabin. Said he was helping you with taxes." I told him my memory's not what it used to be. A pause. "My memory's fine, by the way." I smiled into the night. "Thanks, Mom." Back in the hotel room I'd booked under my business name, I checked our joint account. 3 new charges: consultation fee, asset valuation, legal retainer. All from the week he brought me flowers for being his rock. My phone buzzed again. "Adam." "Hey, babe," he said with fake warmth. "Let's have dinner tonight." "Something special?" "Sure," I lied. 7 okay? Perfect. I've got everything handled. That was new. Adam never handled anything. After he hung up, I pressed record again and whispered the words that would define the next chapter of my life. He thinks I'm walking into his plan. He has no idea, he's already in mine. The house smelled wrong when I walked in. Soy sauce and cheap perfume. He'd ordered takeout from a place we swore never to visit again after finding a hair in the rice. The dining room was staged like a low-budget movie set: candles, my grandmother's fine china, even a jazz playlist on the speaker. I'd used that china twice, on our first anniversary and the night I landed my biggest contract. Both times, he'd complained about hand-washing the plates. Now they were props in his show. "Sit," Adam said, motioning to my usual chair. He stayed standing, a manila folder tucked under his arm like a trophy. He'd changed into the navy suit I bought him for a job interview he skipped, saying the company wasn't his level. He cleared his throat, straightened his posture. I could almost hear his attorney's voice echoing in his head. "Cass," he began, adopting a tone halfway between motivational speaker and victim. "We've grown apart. Our paths have diverged. I've been doing a lot of self-work, and I realized we need a fresh start." I picked up my glass of water, nodding slowly, pretending interest. My phone was already recording in my pocket. He continued, his tone rehearsed, "You've been consumed by work. I've been handling everything else: emotional labor, home management, sacrifices." The irony nearly made me laugh. Sacrifices, from a man whose biggest daily challenge was deciding between leg day or arm day at the gym. He slid the folder toward me across the table. "I've had papers drawn up that are fair to both of us." I opened it. Half the text was bolded, half misspelled. He wanted the house. My business. My car. Even my grandmother's jewelry, listed as marital gifts. "You want half of Blackwood Consulting," I said flatly. "I was your sounding board," he replied, gaining confidence. "I gave you feedback, supported your long nights." "You mean the nights you played online poker until 3 a.m. He ignored that. "I think this is reasonable, Cass. We built this life together." I looked at him, the suit, the manicured hair, the cheap cologne trying too hard to smell expensive. I saw the man who once sold potential like a product, and the man now sitting in front of me, trying to resell me my own life. "You've rehearsed this," I said quietly. He hesitated. "What?" "You practiced this speech." His face stiffened. I'd hit the nerve. I picked up the pen he'd laid out for me, a cheap blue Bic. "You want me to sign these tonight?" "Yes," he said, trying to sound firm. "I've made my decision. Either you sign, or you can pack your things." There it was, the ultimatum again. Almost identical wording. I made sure the phone caught every word. I signed each page carefully, my handwriting clear, deliberate. Then I stood, took the keys from my purse, and placed them next to the papers. His eyes brightened with disbelief, the look of a man who couldn't tell victory from setup. That's it? He asked. That's it, I said. When I closed the door behind me, the wind hit my face like oxygen. I didn't look back. By the time I reached Rachel's office, she already had coffee waiting and a blank folder labeled Wilson case. He said it again? She asked. Word for word. Rachel's pen tapped the desk. Perfect. Now let's see how deep he's already buried himself. She pulled up my company accounts on her laptop. 2 unfamiliar transactions blinked near the bottom, one to Garrett Legal Group, one to Midwest Property Assessments. Both billed within days of each other. He's been paying people to appraise your house and value your business, Rachel said, scrolling. He's building an ownership claim. He used our joint account? Yes, she smiled, which makes it easy to prove fraud. My phone buzzed again. A text from Emma, my operations manager. Hey, Cassidy, sorry to text late, but Adam stopped by the office today. Said he was helping you review financials. Picked up the credit card statements. Should I be worried? Rachel read the message over my shoulder. Good girl for asking. Forward me everything she sent him. I did. Within minutes, Rachel's expression hardened. He paid his lawyer a retainer 3 weeks ago. Same day he brought you flowers and took you to that steakhouse. I remembered that dinner, the one where he toasted to new beginnings. He'd said he wanted to reconnect. Apparently, reconnect meant prepare for war. Rachel's tone turned professional again. Here's what we'll do. Tomorrow, we move your business accounts into secure holding. Separate from all joint assets. You'll grant me full authorization for documentation. Every text, every email, every expense. I nodded. Already started recording. She smiled faintly. Good. Then we let him keep talking. The more confident he feels, the more mistakes he'll make. Back in my hotel room, I replayed the dinner recording through earbuds. His voice sounded smaller now, less powerful when stripped of candlelight and performance. Every pause, every self-righteous phrase was evidence, all of it clear, admissible, legal. My phone buzzed again. Mom. Cassie, she said softly. He called again. Asked if the cabin's in your name or the estate's. I told him to ask you directly. Thank you. Sweetheart, she continued, her voice tightening, a man who asks about property before the marriage is cold. A man who asks about it during the marriage is dangerous. After we hung up, I opened my notebook and wrote one line across the top of the page. He thinks I'm his weakness. He's about to learn I'm his audit. The next morning, my phone rang at 7:42. Rachel again. Cassidy, you need to hear this. My contact at the gala last month said Adam was asking divorce lawyers about hidden asset strategies. He's been planning this for a while. How long? At least 2 months. But don't worry, she said, her voice crisp and certain. You're bulletproof. Legally, financially, strategically. He can't take what he never owned. I looked around the sterile hotel room, white sheets, gray carpet, no trace of him. I felt something strange, not relief, not sadness. Just clarity. The kind that comes right before you strike back. The morning after the victory dinner, Adam posted a photo on Instagram, him raising a beer in my living room. The caption read, New beginnings. Sometimes you have to remove toxic people to find peace. Hashtag my house my rules. Rachel texted me a screenshot, he's building evidence, for you. By 9 a.m. Marcus, my CFO, called. All company access for Adam Wilson is terminated. Cards deactivated. Every charge flagged. His BMW lease, gym, club membership, everything was billed through company funds. We've shut it all down. How many charges total? I asked. 17. Including something called executive presence coaching. $400 a month. I closed my eyes, steadying my voice. That's the one where a life coach tells him he's brilliant. Not anymore, Marcus said. Also, he tried to use the company card at a sports bar 20 minutes ago. Declined. The first domino had fallen. At 10:15, my sister Lily called. Her tone was sharp. He just called me, Cass. Said you had a breakdown. That you abandoned the marriage to focus on money. He actually asked if I'd convince you to get therapy. I smiled grimly. He's doing narrative control. It means he's scared. Then let him talk, Lily said. The more he explains, the more obvious he sounds. By noon, his panic was spreading online. He posted a photo of my office, his new workspace, with LED lights, gaming monitors, and my framed awards shoved aside. Caption: finally turning this place into something productive. Rachel took screenshots. Every one of these is evidence of property misuse. Keep collecting. That evening, a text from my neighbor Jennifer arrived. He's throwing a party. Told everyone you left him for your career. Filming everything. Attached was a short video, Adam on the porch, holding a beer, saying loudly, she chose spreadsheets over family. I gave her an ultimatum, and she just left. The next morning, he woke up to find his BMW gone. Repossessed at 7:30 a.m. His gym card deactivated. The house internet locked. Even the coffee maker wouldn't turn on, all accounts registered to my name. Jennifer texted another photo, Adam standing in his pajamas on the driveway, holding the repossession notice, shouting into a phone that no longer had service. Rachel called 5 minutes later, her tone brisk. His attorney just phoned. Wants to clarify some documentation. She put the call on speaker. Ms. Torres, the man's voice trembled. We seem to have a misunderstanding about the trust. My client believed the property was marital. Rachel's tone was precise. Your client signed 7 acknowledgments confirming it belonged to the CBW Holdings Trust, created before the marriage. His signature is on every page. The line went silent. Papers shuffled. Then we heard a faint voice in the background, Adams. Wait, what do you mean fraud? She signed the papers. The lawyer's voice snapped, losing composure completely. You signed a document claiming ownership of property held in a trust. That's documentary fraud, Adam. She didn't give you the house, you just gave her evidence. Rachel muted the call. We listened as the shouting continued on the other end, panic, blame, confusion. When she unmuted, the attorney's tone was broken. We'll vacate the property immediately. Rachel nodded to herself. He has 72 hours. After that, the sheriff takes over. The next morning, Jennifer's text came at 7:04 a.m. Sheriff's here. Video attached, a uniformed deputy handing Adam an envelope at the front door. His face pale, robe half open. By afternoon, his brother arrived with a U-Haul. I watched from my car down the street as they carried out his life, a gaming chair, weights, a box of motivational books, and 3 suits, all paid for by me. Jennifer narrated updates by text. He's arguing about the TV. His brother just showed him the receipt in your name. He tried to take the wine fridge, didn't end well. By sunset, the truck was gone. The house stood silent again. That night, the locksmith arrived. He changed every lock, reset every code, removed Adam's access from the smart system. The final bolt clicked, and with it, for years of illusions locked out. Inside, I opened every window. Sunlight poured across the hardwood, washing away the stale scent of his cologne and protein shakes. The air felt new, light, honest. The cleaning crew arrived the next morning. Not for dust, for memory. They scrubbed, steamed, polished until every trace of him was gone. 3 days later, the house was alive again. My grandmother's china back in its cabinet. My awards rehung. My father's books on new shelves. The office he'd invaded now smelled like lemon oil and paper, not ego and lies. Lily flew in that weekend with champagne. So, she said, popping the cork, How does it feel to finally own what was always yours? I laughed softly. Peaceful. Word spread quickly. His gym revoked his membership. His favorite restaurant stopped his house account. His influencer girlfriend, yes, there was one, posted a new photo, #new beginnings #upgrading. Adam disappeared from social media a week later. The man who lived for validation had vanished into silence. 6 months passed. My business tripled. Rachel came over for dinner with friends, real laughter filling the space he once poisoned with fake confidence. As candles flickered over my grandmother's china, Rachel raised her glass. To Cassidy, she said. Who proved that the best revenge isn't destruction. It's documentation. Everyone laughed. I smiled, feeling the warmth of my house, settle around me. Adam had tried to take everything I built with performance and threats. In the end, he gave me everything I needed, proof, peace, and a perfectly quiet home. Because when you play games with someone who keeps receipts, you don't lose a house. You lose your script.